So here's some interesting news from today. Square Enix shares new policy against harassment of their employees and executives. Automaton writing, Square Enix Group published a policy addressing harassment of its employees, executives, and partners on January 10th. According to the announcement, there have been instances that constitute, quote, customer harassment, unquote, such as defamation, violence, and threats of Square Enix employees, which has compromised their sense of security. Square Enix warns that it will be taking action against any behavior determined to be harmful or exceed what is socially acceptable. So you can see how this is starting to get into the grounds of being extremely vague, and that's the issue with this sort of policy. But we'll talk more about that once we get through the whole thing, so continuing. This means that in response to harassment or unreasonable demands, the company will cease to provide its products and services to offenders. In addition, if a user's behavior is deemed to be excessive or of malicious intent, Square Enix will take legal action, including criminal proceedings. The company provides the following examples of customer harassment and socially unacceptable behavior. And yeah, we've got this section with part 1 harassment and part 2 undue demand. We're not going to go through the entire list. I'll point out some of the things that stick out as rather odd, to say the least. To be fair, some of this stuff is reasonable though. For example, they don't want people trespassing in their offices and or stalking their employees. Those are just a few examples. But then on the other hand, you've got this very vague stuff such as abusive language, which once again, what exactly would they find as abusive language? They also say personal attacks, which even includes things such as comments or posts on the internet. Perhaps they would find simple criticism to be breaching these policies. Under undue demand, they also say excessive requests for the provision of products and services exceeding socially accepted norms. And once again, what are these socially accepted norms that they're referring to? Well, I guess that's up to their discretion. And the way they phrase this, it's like if you breach any of these things, they might deny you service or even take legal action against you. If all the stuff they were outlining was completely reasonable, fair enough. But some of this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. And it comes off like a public statement that's really just attempting to intimidate people, especially when you take a look at the context of this statement coming out right now, after they've been getting more and more criticism from people over the direction that their company's been going, and critiques toward a number of their recent releases, including things as simple as people saying that the pricing is excessive. All that sort of context makes it very difficult to give them benefit of the doubt. The article ends by saying other Japanese game companies like Sega and Level 5 have recently made/strengthened similar policies against customer harassment. And yeah, this is certainly not the first time I've seen a Japanese company release a set of policies like this. But when the policies go out of their way to make it sound like they could even take action against someone for simply leaving criticism towards their company on the internet via a post, that's never a good look, at least in my opinion. Comes off too much like they're attempting to be the internet police. I'll leave it there. As always, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. Consider liking and or subscribing as well. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.